Aloha everyone, Michelle Melendez here on the Big Island of Hawaii with Blossom Inner Wellness, which is the home of the Freedom Academy, and also with StandTogetherHawaii.com, which helps locals to take a stand against the tyranny that is coming in Hawaii and happening in Hawaii. I want to do this video on what happened. I'm going to show you guys a locals council meeting, town council meeting in Oahu, where locals are blaming the military for the flooding because they literally trained and bombed and torched the mountain, which then created the flood, which bombarded Oahu residents. So I'm going to show you guys that, and I'm also going to show you guys the weather modification programs that and what states they're actually in, but also why your state may have a weather modification program in it and you might not know about it and why that is. And then I'm going to share with you guys actions that you guys can take. This country has been taken over by political Zionists, Zionists who support Israel. This is one of the reasons why all of this weather modification is happening. Do you guys remember way back when President Trump was first elected to office? He said no war. He was not going to put us in war. War is so profitable for the military industrial complex, for the bankers, because they fund both sides of the war. But Trump was like, no war. And now we're at war, his second term, and now we're at war. This war with Iran, and I know this feels off topic, but it's not. I'm going to bring it back around. This war with Iran was planned 150 years ago. I shared that in one of my last videos with the enemy unmasked, that Albert Pike, which was an Illuminatiist in America, sent letters to Giovanni Menini in Italy saying the Third World War would be with the Zionists, those who support Israel, and with the Arabs. So what is happening right now? And it would the goal of the Third World War is to enslave everybody. Well, part of that enslavement is literally taking people's property. So let me just show you guys. I'm going to do a screen share. I'm going to show you what the residents in Oahu have shared. And also, this is thanks to my friend Sky, who's on the Hilo side, who sent me this. And I'm just going to keep off the sound because whoever recorded this put music to it and it just sounds, you can't really hear the guy. So I'm going to read what he says. But this is from the locals in Oahu. And this is a frontline brother knows the flooding was caused by military training. And this is what he says. I'm just going to read it. He says, land, no more foundation. The rain came big, landslide. That's where the water came from, the landslide. And he's going to talk about the military. Not from the dam. The water came from here and down. That was from the military. That's not from Dole's fault. So Dole is a company that I guess they were being blamed. Dole is a huge company, the Dole Pineapple Company. It's small now here on the islands. It used to be all over. It was massive, but he's saying it's not from the Dole Company. It's coming from the mountain, from the military. The water from the Doles is controlled. The water that came down, that was not controlled. The water came down like a tidal wave. There was a dam caused by the fire. Then when the first rain and the second rainstorms, then it took this one, went broke. That's where all the silt came from. So where is the military or Schofield taking responsibility for what they was doing and burning the mountain and training? They got to stop that. So he's saying the mountain was burned. There was training going on up there with the military, which literally desecrated the vegetation and the trees and everything like that, that stops the rain. And he said that's how the mudslide happened, which that makes a lot of sense to me. And then he's got some people clapping. We need someone above asking for all that to stop, as well as testing. You guys got to go talk to them, get someone down from the military. Basically, he's wanting responsibility from the military to take responsibility for the Oahu flooding. And here's what the flooding looks like. Hawaii travel update: flooding eases, but recovery and caution remains essential. I mean, look at this. People, this person's up to their waist, all of this flooding. Let me just tell you guys something. These are the Hawaii Islands. We get storms. we are used to tropical storms. I mean, I remember being on the other side of the island and we just shut everything down and I was like, "Oh my gosh," because the rain was coming in sideways. This was last year, a couple of years ago actually. The rain was coming in sideways, there was wind, but nothing like this. Nothing like what happened where the rain just comes in and then it sits on top of Haleakala and Maui. Maui got, I think it was up to 40 inches of rain. That's not normal. Plus, this is the ending of the Kona low season. The Kona low goes from November to April, so this is the ending of the Kona low season, and it's one of the most devastating storms in years. So let me just show you guys a couple other things around this storm, and then I want to go locally because it's all connected, you guys. This guy is amazing. I'm asking to interview him. He gathered rainwater from the March 2026 Kona low storm. And I think I can put his sound on. Let me make sure the sound is on my end. This is again from my friend Sky who sent this to me. Puts it in a petri dish. Long as I remember I'm actually going to take the sound off because I'm worried about the copyright stuff. So this is the crystallography, and take a look at this. This is like, you guys remember? In fact, I'll show you guys. I'll show you guys the water. Does water have emotions? This was what images in the water.
Would you believe that the water you drink actually changes its structure based on what you say to it? I'm not talking about magic. I'm talking about real experiments with photos to prove it. When Japanese researcher Dr. Masaru Emoto first shared his findings back in the 1990s, most people thought it was a bit far-fetched. But his work has sparked a fascinating conversation about water's hidden properties that continues today. The process was quite straightforward. He'd take water samples, expose them to different influences, freeze them at -20 degrees Celsius, and then photograph the resulting crystals. When water was exposed to words like love and gratitude, either spoken to the water or written on labels attached to containers, it formed beautiful snowflake-like crystals with clear, symmetrical patterns that looked like delicate works of art. But here's where it gets even more interesting. When the same water was exposed to negative words like hate or anger, the results were dramatically different. Instead of those lovely symmetrical patterns, the crystals came out all messy and broken looking. They lacked coherent structure, appearing fragmented and distorted, as if the water itself was disturbed by the negative energy.
So I'm going to stop there, but I want to go back to this one and show you, finish it up, because this is very interesting. This is the water sample frozen from, again, the Kona low storm that just happened here on the Hawaiian Islands. And look at this. This is confusion on the... And I am going to keep it sound off. A static charge. Something's electrical. Something's electric in this water. Implosion. Like he's saying, like something is happening with this storm. It wasn't normal. This wasn't a normal rain. This is not what normal rain looks like. Exhaust emissions, something, he's seeing exhaust emissions somehow. And then, dun, 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 AI. AI right here, spelled right there. AI. Interesting, huh? Just want to stop that for a second. This was not a normal storm in any way, shape, or form. Obviously, we know that. Also, it didn't hit Kauai barely. Kauai is one of the wettest places on Earth with 400 to 600 inches of rain a year, and it didn't really hit Kauai, but it sure did hit Oahu, and it sure did hit Maui. Maui was the worst. Again, Maui was the worst. The Hawaii governor suspended, I believe it was over 20 laws prior to this disaster. That's a whole other topic. I want to keep going to share with you guys about the weather and how to see what's coming down your pipeline. This is the Weather Modification Act of 1976. Weather modification has been going on for a very long time. This act says that you have to maintain records and report what weather modification activities you're doing, except if you're the federal government. So those persons who have to report is any individual, corporation, company, association, firm, blah, 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 or other organization, commercial or nonprofit, and this is important, except where acting solely as an employee, agent, or independent contractor for the federal government. The federal government does not have to report. And the other thing too is isn't the reporting isn't 100%. There's been weather modification programs that have changed their goals, have not been reported. So it's not 100% accurate with the reporting. So let me show you guys this. This is the weather modification, the National Oceanic Atmospheric Administration. And this says weather modification activities as defined as any activity performed with the intention of producing artificial changes in the composition, behavior, or dynamics of the atmosphere. The following, when conducted as weather modification activities: seeding and dispersing of any substance into clouds, fog, to alter the drop size distribution, produce ice crystals, or coagulation of droplets, using fires or heat sources to influence convective circulation in the evaporative fog, modifying the solar radiation exchange of the earth or clouds, modifying the characteristic of land water surfaces by dusting or treating with powders, liquids, sprays, dyes, or other materials. This is disgusting. Releasing electrically charged radioactive particles or ionize into the atmosphere. And what did we see here? What did we see here with this? I mean, explosions. This is not normal. AI, this is not normal. And this is actually what it says, releasing electrically charged and radioactive particles. And what did this guy show? Look at the end, see? Static charge, releasing electrically charged or radioactive particles, sorry, or ions into the atmosphere. Applying shock waves, sonic energy sources, or other explosive or acoustic sources to the atmosphere. And what did it? Explosion right there. Very interesting. Using aircraft, propeller, downwash, jet wash, or other sources of artificial wind generation. Using lasers or other sources of electromagnetic radiation. Interesting. Other activities undertaken with the intent to modify the weather or climate, including solar radiation management activities. So let me show you guys this. This is the key 2026 weather modification activities. Utah Snowscape 2026 program to enhance snow peak using remote control generators and drones. Colorado and Utah deploying new chemical-free ground-based ionization systems. California, Nevada continued operations to increase snowpack and water supply in the Sierra Nevada and Colorado River Basin. Texas, they're still doing Texas, localized efforts to increase rainfall, suppress hail in areas. This is so disgusting. Here's the thing, the issue with this. There's a problem here. This is from the Bulletin of the Atomic Scientists, Dodging Silver Bullets, How Cloud Seeding Could Go Wrong. And it talks about precipitation resulting from cloud seeding can have an unintended consequence. For example, a study in the United Arab Emirates demonstrated that cloud seeding operations led to an increased urban flooding, a deathly blizzard in China that happened, and severe flooding in the United Kingdom have also been linked to cloud seeding. More broadly, the uncertainty that are widely acknowledged in the science of cloud seeding mean that potential harms are not well understood. They always do this. The World Meteorological Organization adopted guidelines advising members not to perform weather modification activities without considering the high levels of uncertainty, ineffectiveness, and potential harms. So now what I want to do is I want to show you guys this other video of a senator talking about aerosols. You know, for the longest time, people have been saying there's chemtrails, and then I even have some clients who were telling me, no, those are contrails. Well, let's look at this, because this is, again, it's all connected, you guys. The wars, everything is all connected, and they want us to think it's not because the entire government is compartmentalized. Most of the government doesn't know what the other people are doing. They could be in the same exact building and not know what each other's doing and how the whole story's connected. Let me show you guys this one. They're doing these experiments and they don't even know the long-term effects. But here's this guy here. Let's listen to this. This was from my friend Merle that sent me. No longer a conspiracy theory.
Another example is the array of technologies, often referred to collectively as geoengineering.
I just have to pause for a second. This guy is the worst actor. Like, he's like, what it feels like to me, the way he's talking, it feels like he's trying to make something that he knows is horrible sound good. Like you can hear it in his voice. He's like this is the worst liar I've ever seen. I don't like he needs to take an acting class or something because it's pretty bad.
Potentially could help reverse the warming effects of global climate change. One that has gained my personal attention is stratospheric aerosol injection, or SAI, a method of seeding the stratosphere with particles that can help reflect the sun's heat in much the same way that volcanic eruptions do. An SAI program could limit global temperature increases.
So I want to show you guys this before we go into that there's no global warming. Let me show you guys this. There's no world climate declaration, no climate emergency signed by 2,060 signatures. These are scientists around the world that have signed a world climate declaration stating there's no climate emergency. There's no climate emergencies. Climate scientists should be less political, while climate policies should be more scientific. Scientists should openly address uncertainties and exaggerations in their predictions of global warming, while politicians should dispassionately count the real costs as well as their imagined benefits of their policy measures. This is what they say. To believe the outcome of climate model is to believe what the model makers have put in. There's precisely the problem of today's climate discussion, to which climate models are central. Climate science has degenerated into a discussion based on beliefs, not on sound critical science. Should not we free ourselves from the naive belief in immature climate models? And this was signed over 2,060 signatures. 5 from Argentina, 188 from Australia. So it says who it is and what they do. So Hugh Morgan in Australia, prominent Australian mining executive fellow of the Australian Academy of Technology, Science and Engineering. So it tells you who the person is, and on the right it tells you what they do. 10 from Austria, 1 from Bangladesh. Thank you, Mr. Bangladesh. Barbados, 44 from Belgium. These are all people who have signed a World Climate Declaration saying there's no climate emergency. I want to scroll down to the US. 151 from Canada. 8 signatures from Israel. 8 signatures from Israel stating there's no climate emergency. 214 from Italy. 161 from the Netherlands. United States, 460 signatures from the United States of America. The most, I think, that out of all of these is from the US, but let's look at UK. 173 from the UK. I want to show you guys this. This is Dr. David Dilley. He's pretty badass. He's a former National Weather Service, United States Air Force. He's a current senior researcher for meteorologists, climatologists, global weather oscillations, Inc. 50 years experience in meteorology. And let me just show you this, because he goes through the Milankovitch cycle. This is a Milankovitch cycle. We were closer to the sun 8,000 years ago. We're glowing into a global cooling. And let's see if I got it right.
Around the sun in an elliptical path. Every 120,000 years, the Earth becomes closest to the sun. And then about 68,000 years later, it's the furthest approach from the sun, greater distance. So the bottom half of this is all ice age, very cold due to less sunshine and also the tilt in our axis. Our closest approach was 8,000 years ago. We were warmer 6,000 to 8,000 years ago than we were today. The reason was we were the closest approach to the sun and came out of an ice age. We're 8,000 years off the peak now. We're actually cooling down.
Cooling down. Let me show you one more guy. This is at Stand Together Hawaii. This is John Coleman. He was the first weatherman on Good Morning America. He won Meteorologist of the Year in 1984. And he's been all over saying there's no climate emergency.
That we are destroying this planet, and because of what we're doing to the climate. And I want you to know that if I ever thought that was true, that we were creating global warming or climate disruption through our burning of fossil fuels and creating carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, I would devote the rest of my life to protecting this planet. I mean, that's very important. This is our home. This is what we got. This is where we live. But I am also absolutely positive that this whole thing about carbon dioxide and global warming is bad science. It's science gone bad. Science been taken over by people with political and environmental agendas, and it's just gotten really way out of hand. So I speak out about it whenever I can. I appreciate you listening to me on this occasion. We are being used by all sorts of people for their agendas, and what they're basing it on isn't so. And they're also promoting alternate energy. And by the way, that's costing us billions of dollars in our electric bill and billions of dollars in what we pay for gasoline, that is entirely based upon this anti-fossil fuel campaign. So these people are trying to make it seem that I take sides politically. I'm not interested in politics. That I'm anti-environmentalism. My goodness, I love the planet. And I promote all
Anti-environmentalists. They're telling this to a weather expert for, I don't know, I think it's been like 50 years or something, because he was, again, the first weatherman. He was also the founder of the Weather Channel. One of the founders, I think there's two of them that founded the Weather Channel. This man was one of them.
I can of protecting our climate. And they also think I'm in the payroll of the oil and gas interest. Not at all. I don't get a nickel from them. That's not my point. They want to shut down the factories that make our smartphones. You want to give up your phone and our iPads and our television sets and our radios, and they want us to turn off the lights and I guess kind of go back to the civilization of Tarzan and Jane. Folks, that's real silly. It's totally unnecessary, and the whole thing is based on the concept that we are destroying the planet. And then they tell us, oh, we're killing off the polar bears. That's not true. We're not killing the polar bears. There are actually more polar bears living on planet Earth today than at any time since we've been counting them.
And I want to show you one more thing. The Inconvenient Truth, Al Gore's Inconvenient Truth. Gore's climate film has scientific errors. Al Gore's Oscar-winning documentary on global warming and Inconvenient Truth yesterday, criticized by a high court judge who highlighted what he said are 9 scientific errors in the film. One being the fact that there's no polar bears that are dying, that the glaciers are not melting the way that he says that they are. So the whole thing about global warming is BS for the political agenda. For the political agenda, you guys. And this all comes together because the Iran war, political agenda. All of the weather manipulation, political agenda. If they really wanted to stop the sun and block out the sun, remember that guy said, oh, we got to block out the sun. Do it over the ocean. 71% of the earth is ocean water. It's not on land. Why are you doing it over 21% of the earth when 71% is over water, not where people live? There's something else going on. There's something else going on.
Reducing some risks associated with higher temperatures and providing the world economy additional time to transition from fossil fuels.
Additional time to transition from fossil fuels. This is the narrative. This is the whole, because it's all by design, you guys. It's all by design.
The process is also relatively inexpensive. The National Research Council estimates that a fully deployed SAI program would cost about $10 billion yearly.
Who's going to pay for that? If you're still paying taxes, that's you.
As promising as it may be, moving forward on SAI would also raise a number of challenges for our government and for the international community. On the technical side, greenhouse gas emission reductions would still have to accompany SAI to address other climate change effects, such as ocean acidification, because SAI alone would not remove greenhouse gases from the atmosphere.
It's like Mother Nature, she could actually clean up all this so quickly, so much more quickly than us. And how arrogant is it for him to sit there and say, "Oh, we have to help, slow down global warming." And let me tell you something. I remember growing up, it wasn't global warming, it was global cooling. And now they're changing it to climate change because global warming has been proven that it's not even happening. Let's finish off with this terrible actor.
The technology's potential to alter weather patterns and benefit certain regions of the world at the expense of other regions could trigger sharp opposition by some nations. Others might seize on SAI's benefits and back away from their commitment to carbon dioxide reductions. And as with other breakthrough technologies, global norms and standards are lacking to guide the deployment and implementation of SAI and other geoengineering initiatives.
I just want to talk a little bit about who the Council on Foreign Relations is, because that's where he was speaking from. This was created after World War II in 1921, and the advisor was a U.S. President Woodrow Wilson, who signed into law in 1913 the IRS Act. This was over Christmas, and I'm just saying this is all connected because who is responsible or who backs the Council on Foreign Relations are basically the bankers, you guys. Those are one of them. The bankers at the corporations, these non-elected officials, non-elected. This is what everything's about, is going to non-elected boards. Who the heck? Nobody voted for the Council on Foreign Relations. This guy's talking from the Council on Foreign Relations about cloud seeding, about aerosols, about the stratospheric aerosol injections. So all about weather modification. So I want to show you guys this other thing. Keep going with this. Let me know if you guys find this interesting. I find it fascinating because this is crazy. Here is the state level geoengineering bans. Florida, Montana, and beyond. These states, this is exactly our action, you guys. The Florida State Bill 56, a comprehensive geoengineering ban. States are fighting back by banning geoengineering. Montana, Bill 473, balancing geoengineering ban with cloud seeding. New Jersey, Senate Bill 4161, targeting hazardous geoengineering. North Carolina, Clean Skies Geoengineering ban. Clean Air Preservation Act of Pennsylvania. Rhode Island, broad geoengineering ban. Texas, limiting governmental geoengineering. Vermont, clean air preservation. This is what I'm talking about. This is one of our powers. You can actually create a ban. You can actually, even ChatGPT can help. You can go, please look at these bills that have passed through these states and create a bill that I can send to my legislative body to put through our legislature. And that's what I'm going to be doing. There's so many things we can do, you guys, but this is definitely one of them. Creating a bill that bans this geoengineering bullshit. So what is in the sprays? Basically, what they're saying that's in the sprays, I know that there has been studies done on aluminum, strontium, borium, but what they're saying is that it's silver iodine that's in the spray, and this can cause respiratory issues and headaches and rashes in people. It can also reduce the nutrient value in our plants. It can harm the microbiome organisms that are in aquatic, like fish and things like that. And your microbiome is one of the most important things in your body. So it can really, for long-term effects, they don't know the long-term effects of this. Short-term, not a big deal. Long-term, bigger deal. It's going to affect plants, aquatic life, and chronic diseases, especially respiratory issues in people. So it needs to stop. So this is a big deal. It is a big deal, and we do have action. And I do want to finish off with one more thing that my friend Sky sent me, and this was from a local Hawaiian guy in Oahu, and he really has a good message for us. And let's just listen to what he has to say here.
I'm over here making this post about the update in Hawaii. And while I'm doing it, I got real emotional because I just came to like this understanding in a way more profound way than I thought I would. Because here in Hawaii is how I feel and know it to be true. Okay. And that is relationships. As simple as I can put it, relationships. That's all that matters in life. That's all that matters. If you focus on money, you'll always be broke. If money is your number one reason to be happy, you'll always be broke. You might not be broke material wise, but spiritually, you'll be broke. If you focus on relationships, you'll always be rich. That right there is what I learned in the most realest way here in Hawaii.
I'm just going to stop it there. You know, these people in Oahu, they've lost everything. I know people in Texas have. I know people all over the world. These attacks on innocent people. But this is the time of awakening. And what he said is so true. Relationships matter. When you have nothing and your home is gone, and your friends are there. You know, I went and helped one of our friends whose home wasn't destroyed, but his two cars were washed down the stream. His yard was full of boulders. His part of his roof was caved off, but his home wasn't structurally sound. But we helped him clean up. And it's like when you have neighbors that come to support you, you realize really what matters, and it's your friendships. And that's one thing I've learned here. Coming from the mainland, I've always been standoffish and not trusting people, but getting into community is just it's changed my heart. It's literally changed my heart. You know, I still am protective of of myself and my space and whatnot, but I also see people who've lived here and grown up here and how kind and open they are. And it's something that I hope to experience in myself someday because I do have a tendency to be very um, standoffish, and there's reason for that too. You know, we all have our stuff. But I just want to say that I just really appreciate Hawaii for that because Hawaii is aloha here. And these attacks are the darkness bringing the light back. They are literally showing that there's something wrong. We have power together. That's why I started standtogetherhawaii.com. If you have not joined it, please join it. It is vital that we come together and that we not just pretend the world is an okay place, because if you think what happened in Oahu is not coming for you, you got another thing. You got another thing coming. You're going to be open for a very rude awakening. So stay safe, and we take action where we can, which is one through these legislative bills and praying. Just trust your guided intuition. So let's finish off with a prayer. Infinite creator of all things, we just send those in Oahu and all places where their homes have been destroyed. We send them so much inner strength that they know that they're not alone, that the community is strong. It is coming together for them. And Great Spirit, we call forth all angels right now who have ever been on the planet, who will ever be on the planet, that their frequency be around those world leaders who do not value human life and do not value private property and do not value freedom, that their hearts be turned to doing what is right for the people, or they be removed from office in whatever way the movie wants to show us. We call forth this war in Iran, that it be ceased and be ended immediately, that no more harm be done to innocent people who never wanted war in the first place. Great Spirit, we call forth truth and light. We call forth it now. We call forth freedom and peace and harmony around the planet. We call forth the ceasing of all geoengineering, weather modification. We call forth the end of the lies, manipulation, and just absolutely theft of the people, Great Spirit, of the living men and living women under you. We are free. We have freedom under you, Great Spirit. We know that that is true. We know that that is done. We stand in the light of truth, that truth be revealed to all people around the world, and that people stand up together and do what is right for their local communities, and that that frequency of strength, of aloha, of standing for freedom and peace and harmony, that that spread worldwide. Great Spirit, we call for that right now, and we get to watch the movie unfold that brings us this amazing new world, a world without manipulation, a world without lies. We call it forth right now, Great Spirit. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Mahalo nui loa, and so it is. Sending you and your ohana so much aloha from the Big Island.